Welcome to a new volume of Scottie's artist profile on vinyl, and at his suggestion, based on some things we even get today, we are going to be doing his Elton John collection, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And these, again, are all more or less in alphabetical order, is that right?
Alphabetical order.
Yeah, not in order by year. That's just chronological order is something I do, but, you know, everybody out here in the VC, you know, they have their own approach, so we're going to start out with Elton John's 1984 album, I believe, Breaking Hearts. You just mentioned you didn't have a lot of memory of where you got these albums.
Most of these ones I don't remember where I got them.
But I think the big hit off this was Sad Song, Say So Much.
Yep, Sad Songs, Say So Much was the hit off this one.
I don't know if there's any other songs that were big off that album, but that was the 1984. He was...
I think he also released Who Wears These Shoes.
Yeah, so that was probably the other big song off this album, but it wasn't as big as Sad Song, Say So Much. Blue Moves. I actually suggested this album to Scott. It's not one you see in the wild all that often, and not at this good a price. I think I know where we actually got this. I'm not sure. It wasn't that long ago. Yes, it was at the Antique Marketplace in Bangor. And the hit off this was Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word. And this is his, I believe there's Elton, and there's the band at that time. Great pictures. I believe, was this his first double? No, this is his second double album, because he had Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And it's got a very interesting MCA label with a train on it. I think it's a custom label.
Oh, looks that way.
I think it's a custom label on that. So, yep, that's his second double album, I believe. I'm not sure. Tumbleweed Connection, I'm not sure if that was a double album or not. But we'll be getting to that in a little bit. I should know this stuff, but... Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. Someone Saved My Life Tonight. You told me an interesting story about that song, actually, that's very germane to Elton John's personal life.
If I remember from a documentary I watched on this, that the song is actually about Bernie, who...
Bernie Taupin?
Yeah, saved Elton's life when Elton tried to commit suicide one time.
Yeah, it would make sense. You know, he had a lot of stuff that was kind of personal. This is a later pressing, isn't it? Because the original, I think, was a gatefold. I'm not sure. And is there a booklet in there that came with that?
No booklet.
Yeah. My mother had this album. It was a big deal for her in the 70s, and her version was a gatefold. They had a big booklet in it, and I remember looking at that as a kid. Now, I used to have this album myself on vinyl. Don't shoot me, I'm only the piano player, but I got it on CD afterward. This is a gatefold, and I think there's some booklet stuff inside it. Yep. Elton doesn't look like he wants to have his picture taken there, does he?
No, he doesn't.
But, you know, that he's kind of known for being somewhat that way anyway, which is interesting, the way he dresses. So, you know, this such a visual thing. Yeah, a lot of pictures. He had a lot of pictures in his albums in those days. There's him and Bernie. I'm Going to Be a Teen Idol. This is the album, I think, that has Crocodile Rock on it.
That looks like something out of I'm Still Standing video.
Yeah, I mean, he had that look from 73 on. I mean, the hat and the suit and everything, that was his kind of look for a lot of those years. So that was 73, right?
Crocodile Rock.
Yeah, that was 73.
Daniel.
Yeah, those were the big songs off that. And here we go, the double album I was talking about, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I think this was 74, right?
This one is from...
Maybe it was
73.
73. And this is one of those specially priced 2 record sets. They just took a big sleeve and stuffed 2 albums into it. Is that what that was?
Yeah. This is the non-gatefold version of the...
Right, they just stuffed the 2 albums in there. And if you look on the back, it has that little Greg label you've seen on some of the records. Right up there.
This was a Greg album.
See if I can get a little closer so you get the name. Somebody, Greg put the label on that. So, you know, that's the album that has the title song, and it has Benny and the Jets. You know, that was kind of one of his big albums. It was a double album. And then here's the original. There's some water damage, but this is the original album. It has the original gatefold. Again, some water damage, unfortunately. You know, sometimes a lot of people in the VC do not buy that, and there's some more stuff. There's more stuff on the other side. I don't know if you could... Oh, the other one, yeah. There you can see some more stuff there. Get album sliding out here. It's not a good thing, I suppose. I don't know if this has a custom label. No, just the RCA label.
Actually, the label's different.
Yeah, that's a later. That's probably a later pressing
Later
too.
pressing of it.
This is one of those plastic inserts that's plastic and paper. Kind of bunches up a little bit. So. The first greatest hits. I think this probably came out around 75-ish. Would that be fair to say?
Yes. This was 1973, 74, 72, it says.
So it's 74 that came out. It's probably got some pictures on it. Yep. And it's got a custom label. Take that out. You can see it. A little closer. There's Elton. Great custom label with him actually on it, the album cover. That's the way to have a custom label, isn't it? You know, to put yourself on it. Especially if you're Elton John and that's your whole thing. We actually just got this today. He actually just got this today. This is the greatest hits. As we're doing this, he got this today.
Yes.
So this is the Elton John's greatest hits 2. And this is covering the mid-70s up through 76 or so. I think somewhere around that line.
This one it says came out in 77.
Regular MCA.
MCA.
I think there's there's a little thing in there to. Yeah, there's some pictures and stuff. Some different acknowledgments from that period. And there was a Greatest Hits Volume 3. When I first started talking to you about your Elton John collection, you said this was relatively rare to find on vinyl, wasn't it?
Yes, this was a hard one to find.
And I think he actually ended up with 3 copies. One is for me. He ended up giving it to me. You know, we exchanged records. He kept one for himself, and he's saving another for his friend Keith, who wanted one. So basically, you know, he ended up finding this a lot. It's like, you know, if you're looking for morel mushrooms, they say, you know, if you're in the zone, you'll find them, and if you're not, they don't seem to be anywhere. And that's what seems to happen with this album, isn't it?
Looked for this for a long time, couldn't find it, found a copy, and then now all of a sudden,
They're all over
I
the place.
found 3 copies of it.
And so this album, this covers 1979 through 87. So it's mostly his 80s era stuff, regular Geffen. It's his Geffen years. Another one we ended up with today, I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That, from 1988. This is a 12-inch single with dance mixes on it, of all things. And there's a great piano remix you were listening to, isn't there?
Yes, the just Elton and his piano mix. It's just Elton John playing his piano.
You get that kind of intimate thing going with that, and that's really nice. It's kind of like 2 tracks of a recording. You know, you just get that. It's a 12-inch single. Live in Australia with the Melbourne Symphony. This is the album where he had a video to Candle in the Wind. He had a little powered wig on. You can see it in that picture. I have that on CD, but that's the vinyl copy of it. And there's some pictures inside. I don't know if there's a DVD release of this concert. I know there's film of it.
Yeah, because they used to play the concert on MTV.
Yeah, so there was video footage of that concert. Man Man Across the Water. This is from 1971, I believe. And I think that's the album that has Tiny Dancer on it, if I recall.
It does.
Yep. There's an old, and Levon's also on this album. There's also kind of a little weird joke that the lyrics of that were "Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza," but that's a kind of a little joke they have going around. Early pictures of Elton from the, well, not early, but early in his career.
Lyric sheet.
Has a lyric sheet kind of pressed inside the album. He always have these cute little pictures to kind of describe the songs. The only other artist I ever saw do anything like that was Ringo Starr on his 73 album, but he always was really good at packaging stuff. It was Bernie Taupin. And we were just talking about I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't know if the label's any... Oh, it's the Uni label. Okay, that's a Uni pressing. I don't know if that's a US pressing or not.
This was also a Greg album.
That's a Greg album, too, so... Remember we were talking a little bit about I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That a minute ago? Well, here's the album it's from. This is a digital recording. This was a digital recording.
Yes, this actually sounds really
And it sounds really
fantastic on
really
vinyl.
good on vinyl, too. You know, a lot of digital recordings didn't sound too great on vinyl from what I'm hearing. It's got the... If you opened up the CD liner notes, you would have seen all this stuff, but they put it in the vinyl jacket. This was when I think CDs were getting bigger, but... This one, I believe we found in Portland last year, and this is a picture disc of his 1978 album, A Single Man. And this album, I don't know what the hit was on this, but this didn't do too well when it first came out. It was kind of after Don't Go Breaking My Heart, but during his fallow period. But just finding this on picture disc is kind of an amazing thing, because I don't see this album in the wild that much anyway. Obviously, you don't need to worry about the label because it's just a picture disc. And there's Elton and his little car on the back. It's kind of cool. Scott, you ended up with all these picture discs, and I only have one in my collection, and it's one you actually had me give me a double of. I just never ended up seeing many picture discs or focusing on them. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Too Low for Zero. I'm Still Standing, and I guess that's why they call it the blues on this album. Now, this is the version that has the little insert thing on the front, isn't it? Yeah, I think the Too Low for Zero, it's kind of... No, it isn't. There's one that has like a little insert in it. It's just the lyric sheet. That's from 1983. Big comeback album for him. It also has a song Cold as Christmas on it, too. Now, Scott, I actually got this for you last week, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
This is I believe 70, Tumbleweed Connection. I don't know if there's any big hits on this album, but this was a big album kind of thing for him. There's Elton and Bernie. Kind of a concept album about the West. A theme they often used a lot. I don't know if the label's anything. Just a regular MCA label. I don't know if it's first pressing or anything, but... And I'm not sure. I have this idea that this was a double album somehow, but I don't know the situation, but maybe it was a single album. It seemed like it was a double album originally. I'm not sure how they did it, but that's our Elton John collection. Scott's Elton John collection, I should say. It's just there's been so many borrowing, so much loaning out of albums, and so much not loaning, but I should say albums that you've given me. It just feels like ours, but I know it's yours. So yeah. So we actually had a lot. You actually had a lot of Elton John to show here,
yes.
And there's a lot of albums that I don't have on vinyl. I have a lot of them on CD, and that you don't have on vinyl either. But this is a good stash of them.
Yes, I'm working at it. I will eventually have all of his albums.
I know there's a few missing here, especially from those fallow years that I mentioned. But in the late 70s and early 80s in particular, I have a few of them myself. Albums like The Fox, 21 at 33 I have on CD, and Jump Up, which are also great albums. But actually Jump Up was when he started to kind of come back. So there's our Elton John, and there's your Elton John collection. And until then, enjoy your music, and join us next time on another Saturday, or maybe a Sunday, for another volume of Scottie's Artist Profile on Vinyl. Thank you.
Thank you.